Welcome to the Booktrovert Babes podcast, where two friends decided to bring our dramatic conversations about books here for your entertainment. I'm Rubik's mom of 5 and a baby reader just entering my book era.
And I'm Taylor, mom of 2 and a well-seasoned book veteran. Just to give you guys a heads up, on October 5th, it is Terrify Your Tablet Day. So you'll be able to download horror books, dark fictions, anything within that genre. We got some indie authors on Amazon posting them for free for the day. And on today's podcast, I went on tierlistmaker.com and I made a tier list of book tropes with 50 different tropes mixing between romance and fantasy, bringing Rubik's and I's biggest genres together. And we organized them, all 50 of them, and we have not seen each other's lists yet. And we're going to switch right now.
All right.
I'm a little nervous. I don't know. I feel like we could agree on some and be mind blown by some others.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh.
Okay, so how do you want to go into this?
Okay, so what I did is there's 50 tropes and there's 5 categories. So best is like the one that we are gravitating towards. If I see it as a trope, I'm reading it, and that's categorized perfect. Give me 20. Then we have really great, normally good, it's fine. And then the last one is kind of a mixture. So it's a will read, but I'm not really looking for it, or I don't really want to read it, kind of a throwaway in the bottom.
Yeah, like
category.
I'm not interested.
Yeah. So do you want to go from top to bottom to top of just kind of seeing what we each did within that? So we're in the same line.
What do you think we'll argue about most?
So here's the thing. I already know. I see one that's in the bottom row that I put in the top row. So
do we want to go through each trope, or do we want to go
should
through
we go
each
through the
row?
tropes?
I think we should, yeah.
So friends to lovers.
I mean,
I have it in normally good.
Yeah, I have it in really great.
Okay.
I like the friends to lovers. It's sweet. It's fluffy.
I don't mind it. It's not, it doesn't excite me. So that's why I didn't put it in. I've never read one I didn't like. It just, there's nothing ever that's exciting to friends to lovers. That's always like, It's just fluffy. It's a good like palate cleanser. So it's normally good. Childhood friends to lovers.
I put that at the top.
Really?
Perfect. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I put it in normally good, but like towards the end, because there's something about regular, like adult friends to lovers, I would rather read than childhood friends to lovers.
I like childhood friends to lovers because it's a little more complex than friends to lovers, because it's not just, this is somebody that is my friend. This is somebody who's been my friend for a long time. And there's usually a lot of character development involved. So it can be a lot of like overcoming the person I knew them as children. Now I'm learning about them as a totally different person at this age. So I like the added complexity to it.
Okay. I could see that. I'll give you that. I'm still leaving it at the bottom part of my normally good though. There's something about, I don't know, the friends aspect is always where I'm like, yeah, it's fine.
Was I supposed to like the top things in the front?
No. I did because I'm extra. No, I did because I'm extra.
I was like, I didn't think about that. I just put them in the line.
I figured you wouldn't. No, I did it because I'm extra, but also because for this next one is the one I'm talking about.
Oh, God.
Step siblings.
Nope.
I have it in perfect. Give me 20.
Nope. That is in my will read, but not seeking, but it should be in not
touching it.
Not a chance.
So this is the one I want to do as a poll because I know from previous conversations, not even in books, in life, in everything, you hear the word step sibling, you're out. Me, here's the thing. I don't hear the step sibling and go, ho, here we go. However, I've never read a step sibling book I didn't love. 99% of the ones I've read are step siblings. And they're the same age. They don't become step siblings until they are after, like, over 21. It's normally like in college. It's their parents' second marriage. So they're very much in adulthood. It's not growing together step siblings. There's no age gap step. It is like the nerd and the jock, and their parents got married in their 20s. Well, when the kids are in their 20s. So they didn't grow up as step siblings.
I could kind of see that but I don't like it.
Oh, I know.
Okay.
Because one time we compared it. We were like, what about in Teen Mom? That couple were step siblings for like a weird 2-year period because their drug addict parents got married on a whim. And you were like, no, they should have broken up.
I would have been out. But here's the thing, like in my
And they're
home,
happily married with 4 daughters and madly in love. So I'm just saying. Meanwhile, one of the parents is a drug addict in jail and the other one's not doing so hot either. So
I know. So here's the thing with me growing up, I don't have
any step siblings, so
I have 3 half siblings, and they are, step siblings and stuff. And for me growing up, what my parents always taught us was there's no steps, there's no halves. These are your siblings. Mm-hmm. So in my mind, when you say step siblings, I'm like, but they're just siblings. and no. Mm-hmm. So I just don't recognize the half and step. Like, I get it, but I could never.
Okay, to clarify, I am not condoning half siblings. If there's any blood sharing, I'm not touching that book. Even I love you, Game of Thrones, and you know what? You made me side eye some things, but I rooted on in Game of Thrones. But in books, if there's a blood relation, no. But if there's like your parents got married and you're well into your adult life, I'm gonna read it, and I love it.
I won't like it. I'll read it, but I won't like it. It'll feel too weird to me.
I've only read one where it was a male and a female step sibling. Otherwise, every step sibling one I've read, it is MM. I don't know if that makes it better step sibling wise, but I don't know, man. Every single time I eat that shit up and I love it. Perfect. Give me 20. My favorite book of last year was a step sibling trope. So,
yep, that tracks.
So that one I knew we were going to be polar opposites on. Okay.
So this is the poll.
Yeah. Where do you fall on the step sibling?
Okay.
Step bro, I'm stuck.
No. Oh my God, no. See, and when you do that, I'm just like, ugh. It's so, nope, I don't like it.
I will say I've never read a book where that's a line, so.
Oh my God.
Not even jokingly, it's ever been a line, so.
I can't.
I love you.
What's the next one?
Nanny.
Okay, so Nanny I put at the bottom as well.
I put it's fine, but it's the last one in the row for it's fine.
It's a little,
that's a category that I have a hard time separating from life. Like, it's a weird gray area for me of like,
right.
I feel like step sibling, I do a good job of separating fiction from reality. I don't know what it is about the nanny trope. My brain goes to Hollywood where all the male celebrities have a baby with the nanny. And I'm never excited by the nanny, or I don't know. It's fine. I've read a couple and they were okay. They were good.
Yeah.
There was one I read that I loved. Everything else, I'd be fine if I completely forgot the plot of the book, if I'm honest.
I have not read any, but as far as movies go, I'm never particularly I guess I feel the same way. It's not something that's exciting or intriguing to me. It's more of an ick. Mm-hmm.
It's definitely more of an ick.
Yeah, if the parent starts falling for the nanny, I'm automatically like, ew, really? Mm-hmm. Do we have to do that?
Yeah. And the thing is I've watched TV, The Nanny with Fran Drescher. Loved that show. Melissa and Joey's The Manny. I loved that show.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. There's something about it in a book. I hate it. I don't hate it. I'll read it. I've read a few and that's what I kind of left for the bottom.
What was the one too? Is it The Nanny with Scarlett Johansson, the movie?
I think it's called No, I know what you're talking about. The Nanny Diaries?
Nanny Diaries.
Nanny Diaries.
That's the one.
Yep.
That's the one. Yeah. I liked it enough, but that whole romance part, I was just like, eh. Mm-hmm. And I was kind of on the kids' side.
That's where it's hard. I don't love kids in books. I'm not gonna. When we get to a future trope, I'll explain.
Okay.
Why? Okay.
Well, what's the next one?
Professor and student.
Bottom.
Absolutely bottom.
Not appropriate. I can't stand it. It's such an abuse of power.
I will clarify when I made this. the option was teacher student, I went professor student because I was like, just to get the age of no minors are involved. I was like professor student to like no one with a teen in their age,
power, and
but it's still at the bottom.
Inappropriate. Yeah.
Because the teacher student, I'm going to throw up. I'm so sorry, Pretty Little Liars, Arya and Ezra. That was toxic as hell and not okay.
Absolutely.
There's a series that I love. I read the first 3 books. The 4th one just came out. It's on my Kindle. I'm going to read it. It's professor teacher, or no, it's a professor student. And I keep putting it off. I don't want to read it because I just don't like that trope. I hate the abuse of power. It is typically in life and also even sometimes in these books. There's an abuse of power, and I don't love it.
I was watching the show Your Honor with Breaking Bad. What's his name? Bryan Cranston, right?
Oh, love Bryan Cranston. Yeah.
I love him too. And I was so excited about the show. I was invested with, the first 10 minutes of the episode. But then there was a thing going on with the teacher-student thing. And I was just like, meh, why? Instant ick for me. I don't like it.
Yeah. No, I hate it. Okay. Widow or widower?
Widow or widower? Where did I put that?
Okay, I'll clarify for mine. I put it at the bottom, not because I refuse to read it. I'm not seeking it. I genuinely have never read one. But also, to me, a widower kind of ages them up in my mind. And I always love older romances sometimes. Like, there's only one book I can think of that I know has the trope. I've never read it. It is a romance about a 52-year-old woman kind of like restarting over her life. And I've never read it because that just doesn't appeal to me.
Right.
But for me, it's on the bottom because I've never read one. And it's not something I'm ever looking for.
Yeah. I put it in It's Fine. Partially, I think, for the same reasons. Although I think I typically am not looking for it. Right. But the ones that are interesting to me are more interesting is when it's a young widow or widower, that it's like some kind of traumatic experience.
I'm kind of a liar. I was just thinking kind of like, I'm so sorry if you haven't seen this movie, that's your own fault. A Walk to Remember, where they got married and she died immediately. So he technically is a widower.
So if he had his sequel,
okay.
Because it's
again, so I would more maybe complex. Move that. Yeah.
It's more complex. They have a lot more, there's a lot more in there about, how that affected them, how it's affecting them in a new relationship, the trauma and grieving or something like that. It makes it a little more complex. It adds to the character development. And I am a sucker for good character development.
Yeah. So I would say in that scenario, I would probably say It's Fine. But I'm not looking for that book. Yeah, I would still associate it with a little bit older of a romance going into it. So it's still not something I'm looking for. But if it were that scenario, then I would be a little more intrigued.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Accidental pregnancy. I had a hard time figuring out where.
So did I.
I ended it in It's Fine because
so did I.
For the most part, I hate it. So it would have actually gone in the bottom row. However, we recently read a book about an accidental pregnancy and I was in love. And so that book alone brought it up.
Sobbing at the end. I can't wait for a book review episode about that because I was sobbing at the end. It was such a beautiful story. And
it's out on a limb. It's not a spoiler. That's literally the point of the book is they have a one-night stand. She gets pregnant. It is the only one I've ever read where I was so invested with the love story. And I was not once at all convinced the only reason they fell in love is because she got pregnant. And I think that's why it worked.
Yeah. I think it's very much about the way that it's done for this one. Because if we're talking about a trope, like it happens in the middle of the story, it's like, wah, okay. Yeah. It's usually predictable. We can usually see that coming. But if it's part of the story, like it was on Out on a Limb.
Yeah, because it happens in like chapter 2. That she takes the pregnancy test and is like, I'm pregnant. Yeah.
Yep.
Like that entire plot was she's pregnant.
Right. And so those, when it's done early like that, or like in movies, I'm relating a lot of these tropes to movies because I haven't read very many books with these tropes in them. So, but I mean, movies I can think of that start off with this as part of the plot, like Knocked Up. Hysterical. I'm so in love. Oh my gosh. I backup plan. It was kind of like planned pregnancy, but then the accidental, like the multiples and stuff, like it, you know, things like that. It's hysterical. So I think it's the way that it's done. Mm-hmm. And if it's part of the plot to begin with, I'm more likely to enjoy it than if it's just thrown in as a plot twist in the middle of the story. That's what I'm 100%.
Like. And that's normally why I hate it, is because 9 times out of 10, it's thrown in at the middle, where it's like they already have 50% of the book where they're already on a rocky relationship, and it almost always turns into the baby saves them into becoming a real relationship. And I hate
that thought. Yeah.
As mothers, fuck that. No, babies don't save your relationship. Don't do that. Don't do that. Just PSA. Don't do it. Forbidden or star-crossed lovers?
I put that in the top.
I did normally good.
Really? Mm-hmm. What don't you like about that?
So it's not that I don't like it. It's more the forbidden part. There's a part of those books where I'm into it because I'm like, oh my god, because almost always it's a little hand in hand with enemies to lovers. I mean, look at the very root of it, Romeo and Juliet. They are star-crossed forbidden lovers. So using that as like the segue, there's a little bit of the enemies to lovers. There's there's always like a little appeal to the forbidden part of it. Mm-hmm. For me, the reason it went down a little bit is because sometimes the drama involved in why they're forbidden is annoying when it gets dragged out for too long. That's why it went down for me. Because I get it. You need it. We need the conflict. We need the drama of it. I mean, it's forbidden. We need something to build up to it. Mm-hmm. But then at some point, it needs to stop for me. And I feel like most books where I've read it, it gets dragged on so unnecessarily long. Which is fair because fantasy books are so long. So they drag it out for 600 pages and I'm over it.
In fantasy books, I don't feel like it could be dragged out too long. Okay. Because in the Black Witch Chronicles, there are several different relationships that are forbidden or star-crossed because either it goes against their belief system and it's same gender, or their belief system and the whole war that's going on, which is surrounded by eradicating basically species. Mm-hmm. Then there are relationships that are mixed species. Either somebody is half this but half something else or what have you. So I like when they do that when it's very into the plot. Like the whole war is about this belief system winning out and eradicating species. So it's the whole book that these different forbidden relationships are being drugged through the muck. And it adds so much character development. It adds to like the rebellion aspect of, you know, fighting the man, you know, and I really enjoyed that. Now, when it's something else that's a little more...
When it's more trivial is when it drives me nuts.
Yeah, a more trivial situation that makes them forbidden.
Like Romeo and Juliet, I would consider that trivial. They don't even remember why the two families are feuding. They just know that the families are supposed to be feuding. And that's trivial to me.
Yes, and I can get around it. Right? Like I can get around the trivial aspect of it and enjoy the story because of the way that it's done. Mm-hmm. But most of the time with that trivial aspect, it takes a lot of work. It depends on how they do it. But I mean, it's a character development thing. You know, it's all about accepting other people and getting people to accept their relationship means getting other people to be more accepting and open-minded. So I put that at the top because it's usually one of my favorites and most interesting things.
Okay.
And you put it where?
Normally good. So in the middle.
Right. Okay.
Because to be fair, I haven't read a lot within that genre. So,
which is funny because I kind of thought of that being an overused trope.
I don't really read a lot of fantasy, to be fair.
I wasn't even thinking fantasy. I was thinking
other regular romances would be forbidden star-crossed. Kind of. I don't know that I've ever read a basic romance one with that.
I mean, Hooked, they were forbidden star-crossed.
Yeah, but I would put that more in the realm of... okay.
Like, it's not fantasy. It's fairy tale retelling, but it's not fantasy because there's no magic system or anything in the book. That's fair. I mean, it's a forbidden romance. It's a star-crossed romance.
Yeah, but there's other tropes that I would have be the more prominent of that book. Yeah, so...
I'm just saying it's in there, so...
Anyway, on to the next one. So the next one is the amnesia trope. Bottom. Absolutely at the bottom.
I put it in the middle.
Really?
If it's done right, okay? That's the thing. Like, I'm looking at these tropes for what they are, okay? And I will say it is overdone. It is incredibly, like, sometimes the lamest plot twist. Like, really, it feels like sometimes the author had no other way to get the characters out of whatever shit situation that they were put in. And so it's like, let's just throw amnesia in there and just use that as our escape clause.
And you put this in the middle? You already sound like you hate it.
Normally, that is my issue with it. That's why it's not at the top. But if it's done right, then it can make for a really good story. If it's done right.
When we're not recording, I'm going to need you to tell me where it's done right, because I have a feeling some of them might be a spoiler if you do it.
Yeah.
What? I hate amnesia. I think it's so pointless. That is a trope that I will give. It's very Degrassi. Like, it is so annoying. It's dumb. It's so dramatic for no reason. It's thrown in there simply for the effect, but it's like, I just hate it. So, and I hit my table. I hate it so much. I hate amnesia.
Okay. But that's where I'm saying, if it's done right, okay? If it's done in a Degrassi way where it's just thrown in there for a plot twist, that's one thing. But
which majority of the time it is.
Yes, that's true.
Because I was going to say, some of the like movies I can think of, it's not necessarily like The Vow with Rachel McAdams and Channing Tatum. I hate that movie. Or just like Heaven, where she has amnesia. Like, there's just certain ones I'm like, I don't like it.
See, and I liked The Vow.
I didn't.
I liked The Vow. I didn't like necessarily the actors, but I liked the story of it. And I really liked, 50 First Dates.
But see, here's the thing with that. I don't know if I would classify that 100% as amnesia when it's a memory issue because she was in an accident and there's no chance of her ever coming back. Like, that is a permanent brain damage thing. Whereas with the amnesia one, they always get it back. That's the thing I hate about those, is they always get it back.
Okay, that makes sense. Well, I mean, I just like the amnesia trope sometimes when it's done well.
But see, like The Notebook, I wouldn't classify that as amnesia, even though obviously there's aspects to it of the forgetting that, like, of the amnesia, the forgetting part of it. Like The Notebook, I think that was beautiful.
That was the only part of that book I liked.
Of The Notebook? Oh, that's right. You hate life. I forgot about that.
I wasn't affected by that movie like everybody else was.
Does that mean that you like The Vow more than The Notebook?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we're moving on. So the next one, I can't believe you just said that, is sex education. I'm curious where you put this, because I don't know if you truly know what this trope is. Mine's in normally good.
Mine's in it's fine.
Okay, so the base of the sex education is typically it's the female. She has a list of things she's never done, and it's like a bucket list of sexual acts that she wants to do, but she doesn't. She's never done them. She's hunting for a man that she trusts. Experimenting, going through the bucket list. So a couple that I've read, it's like brother's best friend that she does it with, or just a friend, and they just kind of go through the bucket list of some adventurous things to try out together.
I'm not against it. I'm not a huge fan, though, and I don't think I've really read any or seen any movies that have that as a big trope. So I just put it as it's fine, because it doesn't really intrigue me at all, but I don't hate it like I do the other ones in the bottom.
Mine's in normally good, because typically that trope is in a very smut-heavy book with very little plot, other than the smut. So when you're in the mood,
I'm fine with smut, but I need
silly,
a plot.
That's the thing. When you're in the mood, if you're in a slump or you're in something mindless and you just need something hee ha ha with some awkward bits, but like they fall in love by the end, I feel like that trope is pretty good to just, it's so unserious and you're really just there for a good time. So that's why I put it in the middle. Like, I have never 5-starred one, but I've never hated one either.
Right. Okay.
Fated mates / soulmates. I have it in really great. This is so interesting to me. I thought this would be higher for you.
I'm trying to find it. Hold on.
Okay. The face you were making.
Oh, no, I have it in really great. I have it in really great.
I was like, did you put it really low? Like,
no,
really?
I put it in really great because it's, again, like most of the time I love that. Sometimes I don't.
Yeah, I've read a couple where
sometimes it's not done well enough.
Yeah, sometimes it's annoying. And typically the female, poor women. They are a little annoyingly obsessive with the soulmate part of it. And I'm like, please grow a backbone. However, the ones that are done right, and I love them.
Yes. Yeah, I find it really great for that reason. Like, it's not 100% of the time that I enjoy it, but when it's done well, I enjoy it 100% of the time when it's done well.
And more often than not, it is done well. It's just every once in a while you get that one, and that FMC needs to grow a backbone, and she's very annoying. So the next one is best friends. I did sibling, because typically it's like best friend's brother or brother's best friend. So I just did a vague best friend sibling. I feel like I put that one high. I did. I put it in really great. I'm a freaking sucker for them. There's never anything great. They're always going to fight with the sibling about it. The sibling's going to be upset you're dating the friend. But you know what? I eat that shit up. I can't help it.
I put it in normally good.
That's fine. Honestly, if I were being honest, most of mine are probably only 3 and 4 stars. However, am I going to pick up the next one that's a brother's best friend? Yes, I am. I can't help it. I eat that shit up. I don't know why. It's not perfect, though, because half the time it is annoying where you're like, all right, the sibling needs to get over it.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. Secret baby / secret child. I put this in the bottom.
I put it second to the bottom.
Okay.
I put it in it's fine.
So I'm really curious if we're going to match on this because, bringing in the mommy aspect of us.
Yeah.
Something really bothers me about being pregnant and not telling the other person, and they accidentally find out that they have a child 5, 6, 7, 8 years later. It bothers me because normally in the books, they didn't do anything wrong. In life, could be a different situation. The guy we could have a red flag man in real life. So real life, we'll talk. However, in books, most of the time he didn't do anything wrong. So why didn't you just fucking tell him? And then we could have had an accidental pregnancy trope. The secret aspect of it and them not finding out for years later, and they missed out on that child's entire beginning of their life. You just gave that child trauma. It bothers me.
Yeah.
So that's why it's in the bottom for me.
I feel the same way. The reason why I didn't put it in the bottom is because I have gone through stories that have it was the mom that was being irrational, and it was read that way. The mom was being irrational, right? And then it's an opportunity for the dad to get to know this kid. And when it's done that way, I'm more okay with it.
Okay.
But otherwise, no. Otherwise, I'm not a fan. For the same reasons you are, I have that small exception for the stories that are about the dad trying to have a relationship with this kid. Because those are usually really sweet.
Yeah. I think I'm holding a grudge against this particular trope because I cannot remember. It was a long time ago that I read the book. And I feel like it's a very well overused one with this scenario.
Absolutely.
The guy is rich. He's from a well-off family. The poor girl gets pregnant. His mother gives her money to go away and get an abortion.
Yes.
Or she's going to take away his inheritance and da-da-da-da-da-da. And she goes away, but she doesn't get the abortion. And 6 years later, he's at the library and this little boy who looks exactly like it.
Right. It's overdone.
It's that. I feel like that is the one that's always done. It's always done that way where it's like the rich guy's mommy is like, get away from my son, you trailer trash. And it's so annoying and I hate it. I think I hold a grudge against that trope, but it's never going to be better for me.
No, that's fair. I agree with that. What's the next one?
The next one, I think I might actually have regrets on how I put this, is secret identity.
Where did you put it?
So, where did I put it? I know it's at the bottom. Hold on. It is. It's in the bottom one. And I actually regret doing that. I should have put it in It's Fine for one thing only, and it's not even a book. But if it were written the way that this movie does it, then I'd be down. I love Mulan. It's one of my favorite Disney movies. And secret identity is actually probably the biggest part of it in that entire movie. I didn't think about that movie when I was doing this. I don't know that I've ever read a secret identity book. I've read a fan fiction or two of secret identity. But if I found a book, Secret Identity, along a similar line of Mulan, then I would give it a chance. So I put it in the bottom. I'll move it to It's Fine if it's like Mulan.
I have it at the top.
Really? Is it in the Black? Every time you have something at the top, I just assume it's in the Black Witch Chronicles.
It's... Oh, okay. Actually, They do
it is,
the
isn't
trope
it?
in there. It is part of it. In the same way that it is for like in Fourth Wing Iron Flame.
Okay. All right. So we actually went different routes of
In different
secret
directions.
identity.
Yeah.
Okay. I went secret identity and like you're undercover hiding within some. I mean, she went man, woman, the whole thing. But okay. Like you lie about what your name is or you lie about who you really are.
Right. Or you're just hiding that because for whatever reason you have to.
Shit, do I need to move mine up to normally good? I didn't think about it that way. I genuinely thought secret identity of like you're masking yourself and like hiding, but I didn't think about you could literally just lie about your name.
Yeah.
Should I might need to move mine up from the bottom to normally good. I didn't think about it that way.
That is two different ones that I've got.
I know, you persuaded me twice. I'm kind of shocked. I really thought I would be persuading you to change things, but
nope.
That's two that you've gotten me to move. Because I didn't think of it that. I literally just thought like... Because I know there's another book in the Rena Kent universe where she pulls a Mulan, and that's where I was like, oh, that's going to be cool to read. So that's why I would move it. I didn't think about just lying about your fucking last name. How much easier is that than to pretend to be a man and go fight in a war? It's fine. It's fine. I'm mad at myself. It's fine.
Also, what was that? There's a movie... Yeah, Ashton Kutcher and Katherine Heigl, where he's like a secret agent. Gets like falls in love, gets married, gets out of the game, and then it comes back and kind of resurfaces in their lives later on. That I also see as secret identity, right? Because he used to be in this, and he started his relationship off. She didn't know who he was completely. So I like the trope a lot when it's stuff like that. Like there's an aspect of the person that is huge as far as who they are, but it's being hidden and then it comes out. I do like that as long as it's done well.
Okay. I see it. All right, fine. You win. I moved another one for you. Yes. LGBTQ. Mine's at the top.
I put it in the middle only because I really haven't had any experience with these.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with it. I mean, I see it the same as any other romance. So
what I'm hearing is you just need to read more of my Rex.
Listen, I'm working on it.
I love it. Give me 20,000. I love me some LGBTQ. I love a bisexual awakening. I love a gay and the MM. I love some sapphic. I love LGBTQ because I think they bring on a whole different set of conflicts and third act climaxes compared to what a typical romance can bring. And I also just think there's something really beautiful about reading certain bisexual awakenings and things like that in certain books. So I love it. Give me 20,000, not 20. I want all of them.
I believe that. I haven't read any yet.
That's fair.
I don't think I've read any. Yeah. I mean, there's a little bit of it in maybe one or two of the books that I've read, but not enough for me to be
not
like,
where the main
this
couple.
Is the trope.
Yeah, not where the main couple is a part of it. Okay.
So I put it in the middle because I really can't decide. I have a couple of those that I put in the middle because I really couldn't tell you.
That's fair. So I just need to give you more recs and you just actually have to read them. The next one is the Magic School.
Where'd you put it?
Really great.
Normally good.
Okay.
Just because sometimes it's a bit much. It depends on the book. I don't have a problem with it. But I mean, the only books that I've read with a magic school, I don't know if really Fourth Wing would.
Yeah, because they get a signet and they have to learn how to use their signet.
Yeah, that's true. But it just doesn't talk about learning the signets as much. Like not.
I mean, I wouldn't say magic like witches and wizards.
It's more like a tutor.
Yeah, but it's
situation.
It's Basgiath College. It's a war college.
Right.
So it's a fantasy school, I would go with. And there is like the aspects of it because like they can unlock their own doors. So like there's little bits of magic that they get from it. I mean, it's definitely not the main trope, but it's there.
No, I might move it to really great.
Yeah,
I might move it to really great.
Because between the Fourth Wing, Harry Potter, I haven't read Zodiac Academy, but people go feral for Zodiac Academy, and that's another college magic system. I don't know if you read Shadowhunters when we were younger, but I feel like
Black Witch has that too.
Yeah, the thing that got me into reading in my teens was fantasy schools. So there was one Vampire Academy, like those things I read when I was younger. They were all magical schools.
I think also part of where magic school doesn't really super intrigue me is like there's a lot about how different it is than normal school, like the school I went to or the school you went to kind of thing. Well, I was homeschooled for most of mine. So
yeah, I don't
really have anything to draw off of for that to be super interesting.
And most of the magic school systems are boarding school setup, which is actually why I like to read it, because I didn't go to a boarding school. I went to public high school. Well, it was public private, but yeah. So I like reading it because it is such a different setup. And when I went to college, I didn't stay on campus because I went in-state for college, so I didn't even dorm. So for me, reading a boarding school system is fun because I didn't do that. And then adding in some magic, that's always fun.
Magic is always fun for me. But
so the
you're
school moving
aspect is, I'm going to move it to really great, but I won't move it up to perfect.
No, I didn't move it to, mine's in really great. It's not perfect because there is an aspect where you go with that. Magic school means it is a younger audience that we are reading from too. Yes. And there's that whole thing.
And anytime it's a school situation, that's where I feel like it comes off a little Degrassi sometimes. So,
which, to be fair, we are no longer teenagers, so the issues they have as teenagers could be a little annoying to us mothers in our 30s. So,
absolutely, yeah,
that's fair. Yeah, I only did really great. Prophecy, Chosen One. What a great segue into that one. I don't think I did this one that high.
I put it in normally good.
I put it in. Yeah, I did normally good.
Okay. So we got the same on that one. That's interesting.
The only one that I can truly think of is Harry Potter. He's literally the chosen one. And because I wouldn't say that Fourth Wing is, and I wouldn't say...
I don't know if I agree with that.
Well, we don't know enough yet, to be fair. It could be. We don't know enough where she's genuinely... We think these are our theories. Yeah.
No, we do know enough because of something Andarna says in Iron Flame. There is a prophecy, and she is the chosen one.
Maybe.
What do you mean, maybe? You literally said, I chose you.
Yes.
Karen says, I chose you. Like...
There's a theory with something with that I kind of buy into. So, again, there's only 2 books out. So that one I have a hard time saying this is truly what it is.
Fine. But you could have said the same thing about Harry Potter.
No, I'm saying Harry Potter's done. That's why I'm using that.
I know, but that's what I'm saying is when
book
the same
5
thing when
comes out of the Empyrean, I can make the decision then. I can't make the decision right now. I'm not arguing. If you want to believe it is now, go for it. We've only gotten 2 books. But
and yet it's already apparent.
Would you say Feyre is a chosen one?
No.
After the thing with the
But that's the thing. She wasn't chosen. She was made.
Okay, that's fair. So I think that's all right, different. And that's why I didn't think she wasn't either. So that's why
it wasn't a prophecy that there is a chosen one that fulfills the prophecy.
The stuff. Yeah,
yeah. Feyre was made, and it
so that's why it's in the middle for me.
Circumstantial situation.
Yeah. Okay. So that's why it's in the middle for me because the series is done and it has been stated he is the chosen one. Harry Potter is the only one where I have read that trope. That's why it's in the middle because I don't really have anything else to go off of where that's the entire main plot of the book or series.
Okay.
So that's why it's in the middle. I just don't have enough to judge.
I actually kind of, now I'm thinking about it, I almost want to move this one up as well because I was thinking I haven't read enough of them, but all the ones that I have read, I really liked.
I mean, I love Harry Potter, but I'm not moving it up. I'm staying in the middle. I need more to go off of personally. I don't see liking one that I've read, but I haven't.
I do know that I don't remember if I was reading it or if I was watching a movie where this trope came up. And I was like, oh, it's a chosen one thing. That's kind of lame. You know, like I have done that before. So maybe it's more between really great and normally good for me.
Okay. The love triangle. I peeked at yours when we exchanged in the beginning, so I know yours is higher. And that's fucking wild to me. I have love triangle at the bottom. It is in the last row.
Why?
Because I fucking hate it. If you... Listen, again...
Is it because it's overdone?
It's overdone. I have the opinion that if you are with me and someone else gets your eye, go be with that person. Like, I can't stand love triangles.
But see, I didn't see it like that.
It's a love triangle.
I know that, but I don't see it as she starts, or the middle, like starts with in a relationship with one and is veering toward another. I was thinking of it more as like everybody's friends, and then relationships start to deepen, and then it's like having to choose.
Are you Bella in this situation? Are you choosing between Edward and Jacob?
I mean, that's a good example of what I'm talking about, but I don't particularly love Twilight, so.
I don't either.
Yeah.
It's in the bottom. I cannot believe you have this shit on top.
It's not because of the love triangle that mine was that I don't like it.
Snatch the step siblings and put in love triangle.
I kind of want to do the love triangle.
I changed my mind. We're doing the love triangle as the poll because what?
Okay. Listen, it's another thing. If it's done well, I like the love triangle
no
setup.
Such thing.
Okay, maybe I also identify with it.
She loves Degrassi. There's plenty of love triangles in Degrassi.
No,
Are you Elena? Are you Elena debating which one of the brothers you should be with?
That's a good example too.
And I hate it. So no.
Oh, I liked that. I liked that aspect of it. I found it interesting. But I'm saying I think it's because I relate, having been in that situation. I understand the feelings, so I sympathize and appreciate it.
Has it been done well in a book for you?
TBD.
Okay, so I'm shocked that you have it so high and you've never read one with the book, because the only one I can think of book-wise that you've read, you hate it.
No, I have. It was in, that trope is used in Black Witch Chronicles.
Every single trope in your top row, I swear to God, is in the freaking Black Witch
I'm
Chronicles.
Just saying.
Have you read anything else?
That's really good.
Something else.
I am reading other things. I'm just saying
Hurry
it was
up.
a good example. This is why I rate the series 5 stars, is because it has a lot of tropes that I enjoyed and it was done really well. It's not my fault. It's so many examples. I'm not as big of a reader as you.
You need to fix that at least by like 10 more books, because we need to fix your top row.
I like the love triangle. That's going to stay.
Okay. You have fun with that. A fairy tale retelling.
Top.
I have it in really great. Only because I have been burned by 2 books that I hated. And it tarnished the fairy tale retelling for me just a little bit. Otherwise...
Which ones?
One of them was a Peter Pan retelling called The Lost Darling, which was a part of a book club read.
I've been wanting to read that.
Don't you dare. It's so bad. I am so sorry to the author. It is a gift that you wrote and put it out for us as a beautiful little indie author. However, it was not for me. I did not like it. The only reason I didn't DNF it was because it was the book club book. And I was like, and it's not long. It's very short. It is novella length.
You know what that probably means, right?
It's so bad.
No. Gonna love it.
No, it's not bad because of plot. There's grammatical errors. There's continuity errors. There's timing errors. It's not... It's not mapped out well, where there's actually moments where I was so confused. I was texting Mel and I was like, what is happening? I'm so confused, because at one point the Wendy is like banging a lost boy, but then there's an issue where it says Peter and I'm like, who is she banging right now? It's again, I am so sorry, it's an indie author. She may not have an editor. It's not done well and I hated it. Another one that I read was, I think, Cinderella. It was a Cinderella retelling, and it just wasn't really a retelling. She still ended up with Prince Charming in the end, and I didn't like that. I was like, so it's not really the retelling I look for. I look for in a retelling
a different ending.
Something changed, not just modernize it. So I didn't.
That's kind of the problem I had with. I normally like the retellings, but the ACOTAR, the first book, I was like, this is just a retelling of Beauty and the Beast. Now, that changed before I even finished the book, but that is what made it hard for me to get through. And it wasn't because I don't like retellings. I think it was because I was set up to think it was something bigger than that. And it just took you so long to get there. Yeah, it took me so long to get there. So I'm sitting there going, this is just a retelling, isn't it? Like, boo. Not what I signed up for, not what I was anticipating. But I did change my thinking with that. I did change where I was going with it. So But yeah, it's at the top for me. I love fairy tale retellings.
At the very front of really great. It was almost perfect, but then I think of a couple where I'm like, it's not the retelling I'm looking for. I need something to change. Don't just modernize it into the year 2024, whatever year the book came out within the last 5 years. That's not a retelling to me. That's just you modernized a classic story and you made little changes here and there, but nothing like the plot did not change. And that bothers me.
Okay. Yeah, I get that.
I just hear Tish in my head screaming right now. The Virgin and the Player. Mine's in normally good.
Same.
Okay. Tish, we love you so much. So
I really do.
Here's the thing. I don't actively look for it, but sometimes there's just something really wholesome and cute about the bad boy player who's like, I love this girl. I will say sometimes it's done well, sometimes it's done poorly, sometimes it fetishizes the Virgin, and sometimes
and that's why I have it lower.
Normally good. It is normally good when done well. I have a ton of books behind me that are the Virgin and Player trope, and I own them because they were done well. Some of them are gross, some of them are cute. That's why it's right in the middle where I want it to be. Tish,
I almost want to double all of these categories and have like perfect give me 20, but then like perfect give me 20 when it's done well. Just that extra little disclaimer. So because we keep saying that when it's done well.
That's why my middle row is so heavy. Of all my rows, the middle one has the most because that was where it could be good if it's done correctly. To be fair, of all 50 of these tropes, we could say that for all of them, except for maybe one or two. Like one or two of them are probably always perfect, or always terrible. Like I would never say Professor Teacher is ever done well. In general, that's disgusting.
Yeah, in general, that bothers me. I think that there's one coming up that we did. We did it very, very differently, and it's because I've never seen it done well.
If it's the one I think it is it the one I owe Tish an apology for as well? Probably. We'll see. I think we're like halfway through now.
Yeah.
Almost halfway? Yeah. Okay. So the next one is Arranged Marriage. I have it in really great.
I have it in It's Fine.
So this is more so my fan fiction girly is coming out for this one. Mm-hmm. I don't know that I've read a book with this trope. Same. I've read many fan fiction with this trope, and I eat them up. I love a good arranged marriage in fanfic, especially with Zuko and Katara from the Avatar. Kia, hi, I love you. I love arranged marriage with that particular fanfic, and I have also read a couple with Harry Potter. There's some where there's a marriage pact because of after the war. There's not a lot of births happening, so there's like a marriage law thing put in, and it's done really well, and I love them, so that's why it's really great.
Yeah.
In fanfic. I don't know that I've ever read one in a book, but
yeah. Don't hate me.
That's fine. That's no. I am aware if you took fanfic out of my equation, it's going down. But I was a fanfic girly through and through in the late 2000 teens land, and I ate that shit up. It's in my heart forever.
Well, the reason why I was going to say don't hate me is the example I'm going to use is The Black Witch. One of the guys in the love triangle is an arranged marriage. Okay. So I didn't hate that, but it's the only reason why it's not the bottom for me was that one. Listen, I really liked it. If you would read it, you would understand.
If you would read any other book than the Black Witch series, you would have more to contribute. Oh,
I excuse me. Did
you
we
beautiful
not
baby
say,
reader?
Did we not at the very introduction of this podcast say I am a baby reader? I'm just a baby.
How many books have you read in the last 30 days?
3?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe.
That weren't a part of book club.
3? I don't think I read the book club book.
Rude. Okay. Okay. Let's see if we can find one that isn't for you.
Whenever there's a book club book, I don't mind it. It's just there are other books that I want to read more.
Uh-huh. Okay. Historical or a different time period?
Top.
Mine's in normally good because I don't typically look for those. Mm-hmm. The only ones I can think of where I sought it out was the Bridgerton series because I read that pre it being turned into what it is now. And I think the show is better than the books.
Same.
So,
I mean, I can't really say that. I started reading the first one, but I kind of stopped because I was like, this is already...
Arguably,
I already think the show is better than the book.
The show is going to be better because the thing I like what the show did is it handled racial segregation 100 years before we actually did. So the diversity of the cast, the diversity of what was going on in the time period happening then versus now, I love it. Did not happen in the books. There's a lot of issues.
Shonda is a goddess.
So we love Shonda. Thank you. So it's like middle for me. It's not like it's in Scarred. It's, I would even say Fourth Wing is like a different time period because the dragons, Game of Thrones, I would say is a different time period. Even within the fantasy aspect of it, ACOTAR is also in a different time period because in her newer, the Crescent City, it's modern, her world, but modern. So I like it being in a different time, but it's not always something I gravitate towards.
Yeah, I like it because it's pretty heavy in most fantasy.
Yeah, I would imagine. Yeah.
Yeah, but I also like that it's usually, if we're talking about historical, right, it's usually very simplified. There's not as much outside of the story because there's no social media. There's no, you know, that kind of stuff. But I also... it goes into my, like, when I'm reading, it's because I'm tired of my own life and I want to get out of it for a little bit and escape into somebody else's life. And the more different that world is, the more I enjoy that.
Yeah.
So
I think that's what is a really big driving force for a lot of fantasy over romance readers is there's the escapism for fantasy is much larger than a romance. Yeah.
Yeah. And this is a huge part of that. So that's why it's at the top for me. I don't think I've read anything that was historical or even a different time period from the future that I didn't absolutely love.
That makes sense. It's very, that one is, that was one of the ones that I was like, this is a very fantasy driven. Because other than Bridgerton, I really can't think of any like historically taking place in the past other than classic novels that we read in school.
Right.
Fake dating. It's at the top, baby. I eat that shit up every time. You're itching your nose tells me you're about to offend me. Is it in the bottom?
It's fine.
That's fine. If it was in the bottom, we're still going to fight, but we might have fought more if it was in the bottom.
If I'm being honest, it would be in the bottom.
You horrible person. What do you mean? Why? Is it because it's Degrassi? That's why I love it.
No. It's because I just don't
that
typically...
Degrassi has turned into an adjective for us.
I know, it really has. You're welcome.
For the show, it's an adjective now.
You're welcome. It just doesn't do anything for me.
I love it.
It doesn't have enough conflict. And it always ends the same. It is always fake dating and they fall in love. Yeah. But I don't like that. I would like it if it was fake dating and they didn't fall in love.
See,
then it would be interesting to me.
The reason it's at the top for me is there's just something in, like, you rewatch The Magicians a lot. There's a comfort in The Magicians for you. There is something about fake dating for me where it's never a legitimate reason. It's always something stupid of why they have to fake date. Of either it's to annoy an ex, or in a couple that I've read, it's a work thing where they're like, oh, we're going to fake date at work, or we're fake dating to go to a wedding. Like, it's always something very dumb of why they need to fake date.
And it's never a good enough reason.
No, it's never a good reason, but it's always funny. And I always enjoy it. And there is something cutesy about the fake part of it and the awkward stages of faking. And do we hold hands in public? Do we kiss in public? Do we acknowledge each other outside of that? I don't know what it is. There's something so rom-com-y about the fake dating trope to me that it's comforting. That's not a book I read knowing I'm about to read my next 5-star book. I read that because I'm like, I want hee ha ha. I want the rom-com of it all. I want a girl's girl kind of book. Like, it is never serious. And I think that's why I love it. Because it's never serious.
It's never something I'm going for. And it would be in the bottom, except that I have read like some books and some movies where they have the fake dating aspect. I didn't absolutely hate it. That's the only thing that saved it from being in the bottom.
On a serious literature base, it wouldn't be at the top. But for me, it's a comfort. I need a rom-com. I'm going fake dating.
Right.
And I love it.
That's fair.
One night stand or not. I know I have this high.
Mine's in really great.
Mine's also in really great.
Okay, good.
And
this was hard for me because I see the one night stand the same way I do fake dating.
Yeah.
Like, I see it in a very similar way. So it was hard, but the fact that it's a one night thing, the fake dating usually doesn't have the romance attached to it until much later. Mm-hmm. The one night stand has the adrenaline rush of it in the beginning. So it's a little bit different. So I put it in really great. It's typically pretty good.
I have it in really great because the few that I've read, it's like a one night stand and they're like, oh wow, it was so good. Let's just keep going until it's out of our
again.
system.
Yeah.
And that always makes me laugh and I love it. And then I've also like Two Night Stand, the movie. There's just something funny about it. And it's similar to fake dating for me. But the thing with the one night stand, it has like the friends with benefits kind of attachment to it, of like the friendship gets built at the same time. Because typically the one night stand isn't like a one night stand into romance. Like they don't fall in love from that.
You learn about the other person.
Yeah, it's very friends with benefits-y. And like, we become friends, we get done what we need to get done, and then we're like, wait, I kind of like you. And
it's an unexpected connection rather than unexpected attraction.
They're getting their get at the same time. And it's always funny. This one. Friends to strangers to lovers. I have in it's fine.
I have it in normally good.
So for me, the reason they become strangers is almost always stupid. It's I understand the hypocrisy and the weirdness of me saying the reason they're fake dating is stupid. Sometimes in the ones I have read, I understand that there are others that I've heard about where the reason they become strangers is a little more valid. There's a reasoning behind it. Could be something as simple as they moved away. Mm-hmm. The ones I have read, I think the reason they become strangers is stupid.
See, the ones that I have read, it's either strangers because of proximity, like you said, how like they move away, or it's strangers because somebody fucked up. Mm-hmm. And I'm a sucker for redemption.
So the one that I can think of where it's the miscommunication of it all is what I don't like. I don't like the miscommunication. I didn't even put the miscommunication trope in this because I didn't even want to put it on the tier list because I hate the miscommunication trope. But the one that I can think of where it's friends to strangers to lovers is Love in Other Words. I did love that book. I think I gave it 4.25 or like a 4.5 when I read it with Mel. And even as we were reading it, we were so invested in the love story because you got aspects of when they were friends and now after like seeing each other again. And the entire time you're waiting to find out what the fuck happened because they were so deeply in love and so cute. And then you find out what it is, and it's just a fucking miscommunication that could have been solved with a 3-minute conversation. And that is why that trope drives me nuts, is because most of the time, the reason they became strangers, they miscommunicated something, and I hate it. So that's why it's fine.
I actually don't mind the miscommunication. It makes more sense. It makes more sense, and it's other. I know, but I mean that's the thing. There's usually miscommunication because either somebody doesn't want to know something, or it's the reasons behind why there was a miscommunication more than the miscommunication itself. Like stupid miscommunication, I'm on your side. Like it's just annoying. Mm-hmm. But when there's a reason for it, like I don't want to know what really happened because I can't handle the truth kind of thing. Mm-hmm. Then I'm a little more partial to it and it's more understandable. And it also gives a lot more room for more character development, which we've already established I'm a sucker for. Also for redemption, I'm a sucker for it. So
I know. Okay. All right. So the next one is forced proximity.
I put that in... Where did I
have it in normally good.
I have it in it's fine.
Yeah.
I'm not usually impressed by it.
No, it's there. But I feel like forced proximity is never the main trope. It's in a lot, but it's never like the main trope. And I'm always like, okay. It's fine for what it is.
I don't have anything else to say about it. It's fine. It's there. It happens. It's never, I agree with you. It's never the focal point. So
reverse harem. I have it in normally good. It doesn't do it for me. Unless swords cross, it doesn't do it for me. So most reverse harems that I have read, the swords cross, which is where I would put it in really great. But then the typical reverse harem, the swords don't cross. And that's why I have it in normally good. Because I put it
in really great.
Mm-mm. I need swords crossing. I don't need 4 men, 1 woman. I can't do that. I couldn't do it. I don't want to read about it.
I put it in there, and I'll explain a little bit more why later.
Okay. Polyamory couples.
Okay, cool. We're right into it. That's what I
had a feeling. I was like, the way these two were placed is perfect. I have polyamory couples in really great because, so this is why reverse harem is typically there's no swords crossing. The men don't interact with each other. It's just the woman is the focal point. The polyamory part of it is everyone's with each other. And that's where I like it.
That's not true. That's not true.
The way the trope is put down, yeah. Polyamorous harem means everybody's together.
I haven't
Reverse harem is a woman with her men.
Okay.
And she needs Gatorade with how the reverse harem I've read go. I don't know how she walks. That's why I like the polyamory of it. Because like, I'm tired. Go play with each other. That's why I like the polyamory of it.
So I have polyamory couples in perfect. I have the reverse harem in really great. And the reasons why, polyamory, it's a common misconception that they're all in a relationship with each other. It's that there are lots of connections. That doesn't, in polyamorous relationships, it does not mean that they're all sleeping with each other. Okay. So it's similar to the reverse harem, but the polyamory, I've always been very fascinated by the multiple connections. I don't get this from this person, but it's a need that I have and I get it from this other person, but there's no cheating. There's no scandal going on. There's no, I can't say there's no hurt feelings, but it's not typical because everybody's on board with the situation. So the reverse harem being only one girl, it's just a step below that where it's like, yeah, it's not quite up there. But, I don't need swords to cross. I don't need anything specific in those instances. I get that. I don't need it, but I don't mind it. I don't know. But the polyamory couples, I think, always give such a good light on how those relationships work and that it's usually very centered around love not being a finite resource. I like that.
What you said actually was a really good segue into what the next one is.
Oh, God.
Cheating. Abso-fucking-lutely not. Bottom row. The last one in that row. Fuck that.
Same.
No. Bye.
Yeah.
All right, moving on.
Go into it. Yeah. I can
moving
just move on there.
Mafia. I think I have it in. I do. Really great.
I put it in and it's fine.
I like dark romance and you're not a big dark romance girly. So
it's not that I'm not a big dark romance girly. It's that I'm not well versed.
Well, typically Mafia tropes are only in dark romance. That's more so. You haven't read a lot of dark romance to read a lot of
I'm not well versed in it. So I don't have a lot of experience, but I haven't seen anything that I'm like in love with yet. So I just put it in. It's fine.
Second chance. I haven't. It's fine.
I must have had a brain fart when I did this one.
Where did you put it?
It's fine.
It is fine. It's only fine. How high up are you going to put it? Oh, you and your goddamn redemption arcs. Go ahead. I put it's fine because, again, it falls in the if it's done right, I'll take it, but I'm not looking for it. I'm not a big believer in romantic second chances.
It depends on what it is for me, so I would have put it in really great. I don't know why I put it in. It's fine. It's a lie. It should be in really great.
Your true what? It's only your true conscious thought it's fine.
No.
Young adult. I think I put this in the middle. No, I did. It's fine, but I did the top of it's fine. I don't typically reach for the young.
Normally good. I put it in the middle.
I almost did normally good, just thinking because of the Boys of Toman series is young adult. I don't hate it. I don't love it. It's not where I'm at in my own life anymore, so it's hard sometimes to get in the mindset of a young adult. But for the most part, the ones I've read, I enjoy. So
I would say the same, except for the ones that come off a little Degrassi. That's the only reason why I don't have it higher, probably. Because I don't mind young adult at all. I actually enjoy young adult quite a bit. It's just that a lot of the ones I have read recently come off very Degrassi. It's very after school special. It's very every trope you can think of. And yeah. So it's middle of the road for me.
Okay. Cowboy. I'm curious how we actually fell on this because one of us is from the South and one of us is not. I just read a cowboy romance, so I feel like I can honor what I say. Bottom of it's in the bottom.
I put it in really great.
Spoiler, I am the one not from the South. So.
I put it in really great.
I'm so
from
surprised.
The South.
You're the South.
I'm from the South, and I have been in love with a cowboy. There ain't nothing bad about that.
I knew you were going to have it higher.
There is something about a rugged man who understands the value of hard work and is all about respect and kindness and chivalry. Like, how do you not love that?
I was bored to tears. I'm so sorry.
Well, is it possible that this was a one-off?
I'm going to read the rest
other
of the series.
Ones?
It's a series of 5. I'm going to read all of them. The first one, I was bored to tears. I'm so sorry. It was my first ever cowboy romance, so that's why I'm going to talk about it.
I want to know.
It's Flawless from the Chestnut Spring series. He's a bull rider in Canada, which I that was part of it. What threw me the fuck off is how the hell is there a cowboy in Canada? But okay.
What are you talking about?
He's a bull rider in Canada.
Uh-huh. Have you not seen Heartland?
No, I don't like cowboys. I am from the New England area. We don't have cowboys in New England. I'm so sorry.
I would have thought that would have made it more interesting to you.
God, no. I was thrown off. Next one, no more cowboys. I hate them. Workplace rivals.
It's fine.
I think I did that too, actually. Or did I say it was normally good? No, I did normally good, but like the bottom. I
have no interest in that.
Like, I just don't personally believe in you chew where you screw where you work. That what is it? Eat cake where you eat. There you go. Why did
I don't know where you were going with that, but eat cake? Is that where you were going?
That, like, have your cake and eat it too. Like, do not have sex with someone that you work with. That sounds like a terrible idea.
It is.
So it's fine.
Workplace rivals is, I'm not interested at all. It is what it is. Doesn't intrigue me. Just sounds like a bad idea.
Yeah. Age gap. I put specifically over 15 years because I feel like age gap is one of those ones that you can have different interpretations, blah, 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 blah. So I just gave an age 15-year gap minimum. Bottom. Unless it's over a century, because then that means someone's immortal in the equation, and that's fine. If someone's 500 and someone's 200, go for it.
Fair.
In Little the Mortal World, if you're 20 dating a 35-year-old, we need to chat. No.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. Small town. It's fine. For the same reason as cowboy, I'm bored.
Normally good.
It's just
fine. And I put it in normally good, and I put it in normally good instead of like really great because it comes off a little Hallmarky.
Yes. And I'm bored.
Yeah. I mean, I don't listen. I have moments where I like my Hallmark movies. Okay. Every fall and Christmas, I'm all about Hallmark movies, but I don't know. They're not, it's more of like a niche thing when I'm interested in them. So if it comes off a little Hallmarky, then I'm more like, it's a little more cliche and I don't enjoy it as much.
Yeah, I get bored by them very quickly. Sports athletes. It's at the top. I want all the hockey. I want all the football. Give me the sports boys. Thank you.
I put in really great. It's not at the top, and I actually feel like I probably want to put it lower.
What's wrong with you? How dare you?
Because, let me explain.
Blasphemy.
I don't sports. Everything is hockey, and I don't follow hockey. Okay? So, I don't.
You have to follow hockey. Half the time, they don't even talk about it. They just talk about his body.
Right. Yes. And so I put it higher because I had to think about it, and I'm like, okay, it's not really going to be about the sports. It's not really going to be about that. But it's just not something I'm looking for.
That's fine.
And if I'm looking for, if I see that a book is sports related, that makes me want to run away. Boys of Tom and I didn't know.
Yeah.
But if I'm looking at a cover, and dude has sports gear on, I will put it down because of
we don't talk about men on covers. We pretend those don't exist. Billionaire.
Top.
Take care of me, baby.
Yes.
Pay my bill.
Spoil me.
Just give it to me.
Make me feel like a princess.
Right? Let me run my little book club. Don't make me work. Sign me up. Where is my billionaire?
I know. Any billionaires listening? Taylor's single.
I am. Yes, please. Hi, billionaires. Mom of 2. I love cats and books and coffee. There we go. Oh, Marriage of Convenience. Not only is it in my top, it's my number 1.
Really?
If it has Marriage of Convenience, I'm not reading the little blurb on the back of the book. I'm reading the book. 0 questions asked. I am reading it.
Mine's normally good because it's fine, but it doesn't really interest me and it doesn't turn me off. So it's whatever.
I love it. College. I have it in really great.
I have it in really great. Same reason for sports and young adult.
Yeah, it's the same for me with sports. I normally eat it up all the time. The only thing is if it's sports, sometimes it's professional athletes. That's why I had it in perfect. Whereas college, sometimes there's no athlete part of it. It's just literally being in college. And sometimes that can get a little overdone. So really good. Military uniform.
I put it in normally good. I put in normally good because I can see the interest of it. Okay. And I can be a very patriotic person. So I'm like, I want to love you. However, I feel like it usually goes in places that are disappointing for me. And so it's in the middle. But also, we love a man in uniform.
She means she loves a man in uniform.
Fine. I love a man in uniform.
It does nothing for me. So it's in the bottom.
Really?
Nothing. It does nothing for me. Okay. Right person, wrong time. I have it at the bottom. Normally those books have heartbreak and I'm not built for that. I don't want to be heartbroken the entire time I read.
I have it in really great. It'll make me feel for them. Like, and I'm the first person to be like, there's a connection here, but it's not the right time.
So you want emotional whiplash. I do not.
It's not that I want the emotional whiplash. I just sympathize.
Okay. Royalty.
Top.
It's fine.
What?
I haven't read a lot, to be so honest. I just haven't read a ton where there's royalty in that involvement.
Oh, I love the royalty thing. It just makes it's like fantasy almost. Like it's just different. I appreciate the fact that they have different expectations and rules and things like that usually go into it. Sometimes it can be a little far-fetched, but it can be understanding. And it can add a lot to the conflict that's happening in the story. So I like it. It's at the top.
Fair. Okay.
So is Bodyguard and Royal for the same reason.
I was just going to say Bodyguard Royal is it's fine.
I have it also at the top because it's the same thing with the royalty, but the added aspect of somebody that is protecting someone and grows to care about them while they're protecting them. I think that's really endearing.
Okay. Oh, yeah, I can see that. Roommates. I have it in really great.
Really great.
Yeah. Because I feel like it doesn't always start where they're roommates. They become roommates for some reason. And then their friendship builds and they fall in love. And I love that little dynamic. So really great. Single parent. It's at the bottom.
Really great.
I'm a single parent. I don't need to keep reading about it. I'm trying to, for the same reason you read fantasy, I am trying to escape. I don't want to read about it. And I don't love kids in romance books.
I get that. But I find it really romantic when it's somebody who's willing to accept all the parts of another person that are so important to them, mostly which they're kids. Like, it's endearing. Come on.
I just don't. I'm a single parent. I don't need to read about it.
That's fine, but can you appreciate, like,
no.
You've got to appreciate the aspect of
the last 9, I looked. Of the last 9 where the single parent was involved, only one of them got a 5-star. The rest were 3. I don't love them. I'm so sorry. Boss employee.
Bottom. It's the same thing for me with professor and student. It's an
I have it in. It's fine for one book. Otherwise, it would also be for me the bottom. Abuse of power. I don't always love it. It's a CEO and his secretary. It was the one time I loved it, but it was because it was a marriage of convenience. And that combination was beautiful to me. Otherwise, I don't love it.
Yeah, it's the exact same thing for me with professor and student. I don't like it.
So the next one is going to be Grumpy Sunshine.
Grumpy Sunshine, I put at really great.
Okay. Mine's on the top. It's perfect.
I don't think I've really read a lot of Grumpy Sunshine. I mean, Archer's Voice was kind of Grumpy Sunshine.
Yeah. Grumpy Sunshine to me is Black Cat Golden Retriever. And I hate the term
I don't
reverse.
even know what that means yet.
So I would say you are a Golden Retriever, where you're, for the most part, you're very happy-go-lucky. Obviously, everyone's got some trauma. But like a Golden Retriever is someone who normally tries to see on the bright side of things, has a happy disposition with their friends, like is normally like the hype person, is very happy. The grumpy is like a black cat of like, don't talk to me. I'm not normally in a good mood. I got that RBF going. Don't even look at me kind of thing.
Not the RBF.
I mean, so for me, like with Grumpy Sunshine, it's just Grumpy Sunshine. I hate when it's called reverse Grumpy Sunshine. Like it's has to be known that like the girl could be the grumpy one and the guy could be the golden retriever happy one. But I was thinking
it was just one or the other.
It's just the dynamics.
Specific.
Yeah. For me, it's like the dynamics is Grumpy Sunshine. So it's perfect for me because I just love that combo of like the black cat personality and the golden retriever. Like one of you is really happy-go-lucky and you annoy the shit out of the other one because the other one's like, why are you so happy? Cut it out. I mean, Joey and Aoife are kind of Grumpy Sunshine. Aoife is very sunshine and Joey is very black cat, sad boy. And he's only sunshiny a little bit with Aoife, for Aoife. But I would call them like a Grumpy Sunshine dynamic.
Okay, maybe then I get that. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I'll stick with where I put it then for really great because I like that dynamic.
I just love a grump.
One person's got to soften the other person.
Yeah, like I hate everyone but you. It's very cute.
Right.
I love it. Like I've read a ton, and you've not read any of the ones that I'm trying to think that I could compare to. But Joey and Aoife I think would be the closest that I know that you've read as a Grumpy Sunshine relationship.
Right. Okay.
And that's just also show like the sunshine isn't always sunshiny and the grump isn't always grumpy. But for the most part, the stronger dynamic of them is one is very grumpy and one is very sunshine and rainbows.
Would you say Johnny and Shan are Grumpy Sunshine?
No, because I wouldn't call Shan grumpy. Shan's just sad. But like Shan she's not grumpy. Her circumstances, but she still looks for the positive, like her friendship, like she's sad sunshine. She's like rainy day sunshine. Yeah.
Okay.
Shan is just an oppressed sunshine. So I would call like a sunshine. You know who would be a good comparison, but they're not a couple? Gibbsy is sunshine, Lizzie is grumpy. If they were to be a couple,
a good example.
That dynamic, but they're not a couple, thank God. But
I know.
For personalities, Gibbsy is the poster child for sunshine, and Lizzie's the poster child for grumpy.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
So if that dynamic were to be a couple, they would be called Grumpy Sunshine.
Okay.
Yeah. The bully romance.
Okay. I mean, I think you can guess.
Yours is either in It's Fine or the very bottom is where I'm going to guess for you.
It's in It's Fine. And I only am giving it a little bit of room by putting it in It's Fine because of dark romance.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't care for bullying in general. So
that's fair. You're a healthy person. That's fair. Do you want to guess where it is for me?
At the freaking top, isn't it?
I am toxic if nothing else. Yes.
Who hurt you?
We don't have time for that. But yeah, I don't know, man. There's something about when it's done a certain way in dark romance specifically.
I was going to say, you can't say when it's done well.
No. Here's the thing. Bully romance outside of a dark romance doesn't work. And that is the case where I would be like, why is this here? In dark romance, it's almost the point of them for a lot of their plot. It may not be the biggest part of it, but it's almost the point in a lot of them. But when it's the groveling that comes after, that's what I eat up. It's not the bullying. I don't like the bullying part of it where it's like, you loser, and then they fuck up their lives. That's not the part where I'm like, I there's just like that, like when you're little and you're just, like, you know, the movie He's Just Not That Into You, when we're told as young girls that when boys are picking on us, it's because they have a crush on us. Listen, that toxic shit is still in my head. Okay. And I love that movie. But there is that like aspect of like the bully flirting, because that's kind of my love language is like kind of bully flirt. But the groveling that comes after it, oh, I eat that shit up.
I have to say, mine, yours, and Mel's friendship makes so much more sense to me now.
Oh, we are a very close-knit little trio because all we do is aggressively bully with love. And not even just our trio, honestly. That's
I know, with Kaylee and Tish and
that group chat is a lot of fun.
That may also be why I put it in It's Fine, because it's not like I'm under no circumstances, because I'm obviously friends with you bitches. So
I was gonna say, of the 5 of us in that group chat, you are the one who bullies the least.
Yeah, I am.
But we love you.
And I only do it in defense.
That's fair. Or when you're trying to rile us up. Don't act that innocent. You bully right back sometimes.
I mean,
you do. You know you do. You're smiling. You know you do.
Maybe a little bit. Just so you know, I mean, otherwise I'd be your victim all the time. Yeah. And that's
even
not
the playing
good for
field.
Y'all. I'm helping you.
Yeah, 100%. Dish it right back to us. That's how we know you love us.
Yeah, that's our love language. It's fine.
It really is.
It's fine. You don't have to be concerned for us. We really do love each other. It's fine.
Yeah. To preface, after the bullying session, like there will be the most like beautiful paragraph of how much we love each other. Haley will send me TikToks that make me cry. Like, there's the groveling. We bully, and then there's the grovel of love and affection that follows.
Yes. And sometimes it's in the same message.
Yeah. Sometimes the nice message is actually a bully. So
I think you said something that was really, it was supposed to be a compliment. It was really, really sweet. And then my response was, you've never said something so mean to me in my whole life, but you were trying to be nice. It was the way you said it. It came out with that bullying context. And I was just like,
because your first instinct is always to deny a compliment. So I almost have to be mean to you to get it across.
I don't know why you're yelling right now.
Interesting.
It's a bit early for that.
I'm so sorry that you feel that way. I love you.
Okay, what's the last one?
Our last one, which is probably arguably the most popular trope, I would say, in both fantasy and romance.
Mm-hmm.
A good old enemies to lovers.
And you put it where?
Oh, it's in the top.
Okay. It's in the top for me too. I think for the same reasons I like the grumpy sunshine. I like it when somebody's got to soften the other side up. It's kind of like right on the line for me, because even though I am all about redemption, I'm all about second chances. Like, sometimes I'm like, that's too far. You know what I mean? Like, if it's too far on the enemy side at the beginning, I'm very reluctant to like it, because I'm still holding a grudge for what they did in the beginning.
Yeah. I will say,
Aiden, I have a hard time with, because he was so harsh with her. Don't look at me like that.
I'm not looking at you like anything. Anyway, to what I was going to say, the thing with enemies to lovers is it's on the top for me because I would say it's done beautifully in fantasy. It is...
That's true.
Funny in romances, because, like, what the fuck are you enemies for? Like, one time in the 3rd grade, he stole your homework or pulled your pigtail out, or you're at work and he's using the copier and spilled coffee on it. Like, I think in regular romance,
not always
the enemies
like that.
aspect,
I mean, brutal obsession was pretty. That was enemies to lovers.
I will say dark. I'll say dark romance and fantasy. The enemy aspect is a true enemy, whereas in like romance, I feel like sometimes it's just something corny, and it's really more of like you just don't like the person. Whereas enemies to me, like, truly, you're on one side, I'm on the other. We could fight this shit out for like swords and fists, kind of like enemies. And that I love, because the tension with that, and there's a little bit of aggressiveness, like, because in one's mind, someone's a villain in that scenario, which kind of brings it back to like fairy tales. So like in Hooked, I would say they started out as enemies.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And so like, I think it's really.
And then they went to lovers and then they went back to enemies again.
Yeah. And right back to lovers.
And then right back to lovers.
So I think for like those, the tension that dynamic causes, love it.
It's true. It adds a lot of character development as well.
Yeah. And then in other aspects, like just for the romance, there's still just something about like, I think I forget how I saw it, but I want to say it was a TikTok I saw that there's something about the enemies to lovers dynamic that you love because it means that that person fell in love with you, seeing you at your worst, and they still loved you for everything that you are. That hits in the heart. Like, yeah, that is part of why the enemies to lovers hits so well is because you're like, they love me knowing all the things that they hate about me that turn into things that they love about me. So even in like romance where they're not on enemy territory and going to fight it out, it still hits the spot. It's still a good trope. And that's all 50 that I used. There's 50. Plenty more tropes. Those are just, I think, the most popular and more prominently seen in books.
Yeah. I will say, I think it would be fun to have like almost like a bingo card with all these tropes on it because there are so many that I haven't really gotten to yet. Mm-hmm. I'm kind of interested to like mark them all off a list and say, I've officially read one of everything.
Ooh, that would actually be pretty good because I haven't even read all 50 of these.
Really?
And I've read a lot, and I have not read all 50 of these.
Yeah, that would be fun to do.
We should do that.
We should
make a checklist of these and then just write them off on a bingo card. That could be our challenge for like 2025 is to read something within these tropes. You can repeat because obviously
I was going to say
not everyone's going to read 50 individual books. No, you could repeat. I would say like max out like 3 to a book because not everyone reads 50 books. Not everyone's crazy like me.
Yeah. I haven't even gotten up there yet.
Yeah.
Thanks for hanging out with us today. We hope you enjoy the vibes. If you want to keep up to date, make sure you're following us on Instagram and TikTok.
And if you want to watch us fight live, follow us on Twitch, where you can get in on the action and chat. If you missed our previous announcement, we are not doing the Boys of Tommen series and continuing with that. We're actually just going to go over our buddy reads for October, any spooky things we've read throughout the week. So you can join on in. There won't be any spoilers. And we'll post the videos to YouTube after so you can watch there too if you missed the live.
Till next time, you are awesome. You're doing great.
We love you. Now stop stalling and go read that book.
Bye.
Bye.